welcome back. Now this is the 5th episode. In this episode I'll be talking about functions. Well, function is a really important concept. So what does it do? Well, it helps a coder to organize his code. How do you do that? Well, what it does is that it creates abstraction. So think of abstraction with this example. So instead of saying raising your leg, move an inch, put down your leg, and raise your other leg, move an inch, and then put down another leg, you can simply call this process walking. So what an abstraction does is that it removes the detail of what a process is, and it focuses on a more generalized term. Instead of calling a series of steps, abstraction can be simply called with one step. This may sound confusing for you for now, but I'll demonstrate it in code, and you will see why it is an abstraction. Now let's dive right in. Let's start off by talking about the two types of function. The first type of function is called void function. Another kind of function returns a data. So let's start off by making the first function first. And this is how you declare a function, a void function. And let's call it print, and we will be printing something inside. Let's just print out function. So you see this curly brackets, the two curly brackets, your code for this function will go within these two curly brackets. And now what we have to do to run this function is that we have to call it in our main print, and this will print out function. And let's see. Alright, so now what if we want to print in a text of any choice? So what I mean by that is that instead of changing the text in the function, what we can do that makes a function that's really good is that we can pass a parameter into the function. And let's pass in a parameter string text. So you see these two parentheses right here, you would put the parameter within these two parentheses. So what we do here, instead of just print out functions, we would just put in text. And you see there's a right line right here. That means that we have to pass in a parameter. So let's pass in, this is a parameter. So what it's doing right now is that when it called print, the program reads these parentheses, and you see it detects that there's a string here, and then it will pass the string, which is, you can see right here, pass the string as text, as a variable, into the function, and then it prints out text. So in fact what you can do here is that you can change text within the function, and text is actually a variable that you can use in the function. And then we can say hello, and you can manipulate it, but in this case we don't want to manipulate it. In fact, you can also create your own variable inside the function as well. Let's say integer counter equals 1, and you can use the counter inside the print function. And now let's run it just to see it prints out this is a parameter, and you can change the text in the main instead of changing it in the function, which is what makes function really useful. And now we can add new parameters, we can add more parameters and other data type as well. And how about we make our function print text as many times as we want it to? So let's say integer times. So in order to do that, we have to create a loop. That loop as many times as the variable time is, and we will put our system.out print text inside here. And then we will have to add a parameter, and to add a parameter you just simply use a comma. And let's say 5 times. 5 times sounds like a good time. So now it prints 5 times. So this is the basic idea of what a function is. And now let's talk about the other type of function. And so the other type of function is a function that returns a data. So maybe let's create a function that returns an integer. So you will put integer instead of a void, and let's say call it add. It's a function that adds to number. So let's say, so in order to add to number, we will have to get the first number and the second number, and then we will return the addition. So what we do, we will get two integer parameter called a and integer parameter b, and then what we do is that we will return the value a plus b. And we can also do this, we can use a return, or we can just create a variable called result, or we can do this. This is another way to do it. It's a bit longer, but you can do this as well. Result a equals a plus b, and then we can just return result. You can do this as well. So now in the main function, what we can do is that we can print. We can print out. We can use this function. We can say print add 10 and 5. But what we can also do is that we can also create a variable integer called num equals add 1 and 7. And then what it will do, this function will return a value to the num. But if you just do the void, what you did for void function, like just add 2 and 4 like this, it will not return anything. So yes, you did add a number, the function did run, but then the return would give it to nothing. So you return the value for nothing. And here's what I mean by that. Let's run it. 15, right? But then it does not. Here, let me show you. But then it does not print out add. So this function basically just did nothing. But what you want to do when you create a non-void function, like integer function, you will want to return it into a variable so you can store the information, like what we did with num. So we can actually print out num. And now if we run this, you have 15 and 8. And function does not limit to integer. You can make double, you can make string, you can make boolean, and you can return any kind of data type you want to. So this is it, and this is function. And thank you for listening, and stay tuned for the next one. In the next one, we will be talking about classes. Thank you. Bye bye.